It's a marathon, not a sprint, this career, so cancel if you have to.
Your voice is not in the absolute same shape from day to day.
It's probably absolutely terrible for you, but when I have to sing and I'm not feeling well, if I'm feeling jet lagged, if I'm feeling sinus-y or like stuffed up, Diet Coke, cold. Hook it up to my veins, call it a day.
Well, hello there, and welcome back to the Tonebase Voice YouTube channel. My name is Heidi Voss. I'm a soprano, a vocal pedagogue, and the head of voice here at Tonebase. And today we are asking the pressing questions that singers always ask to their mentors and teachers. And the topic for the day is, how do you deal with vocal health issues?
So staying vocally healthy is a challenge. You can make yourself nuts about it, or you can be sort of realistic that your voice is not in the absolute same shape from day to day. When I was in New York and singing, 10 or 12 performances at New York City Opera every season, I really did kind of live like a monk. If the leaves were falling on the Hudson, boy, I stayed inside. I didn't want any of that. But I really think I could have been have more of an equilibrium and live a more normal life. Some people think that red wine is going to kind of stuff you up and that will reflect. I think that drinking should be at a minimal level in proximity to performing. You want to be really hydrated. Something that smart singers are doing today, they're drinking like Gatorade the day before, because really your hydration on the day you sing is more like what you had the day before, and that helps you maintain hydration.
I think it's really important to try to prevent rather than get yourself into a crisis. And so prevention for me involves making sure that I'm working up my endurance. So especially if I have an opera role coming up and I haven't been regularly singing 3, 4, 5 hours a day, I'm going to start to up the amount I'm singing in the weeks prior to going to that engagement, just so that it's doesn't shock my system. And I'm I don't drink alcohol very much. I don't drink when I'm on gigs. I certainly don't smoke. For me, it's the talking that is really the most fatiguing thing. And that's hard because you want to talk to your family and your friends when you're on the road. But I know for my voice, I have to be really mindful, especially if I've been singing, a 6-hour rehearsal. As much as I want to get on the phone and talk to people about the day, I have to be really mindful of that. Rest is huge for tissue recovery. So I think getting enough rest is really important. And, it's really good to have an ENT and or a speech language pathologist that you trust, so that if you do get into a situation where something isn't working, that you can reach out to them. It's always harder when you don't have that relationship and then you're just kind of cold calling practices. But when I know a speech language pathologist who I can actually text with, which has been really amazing in those rare moments where things are, I'm sick or I'm wondering, should I sing on this? Or who do you know in this town if I'm traveling who I could go see? Could you make a call and get me in? That sort of thing.
How do I deal with vocal health issues? It's a great question, and especially it's one that I work on with my students a lot. I try to deal with it very tenderly, very conservatively, and singers have the best vocal health tricks up their sleeves. I have a whole regimen that if I'm sick and I have to sing, I know that I need to take this, and this. Obviously, always talk to your doctor. For most singers, if you're in trouble and you have to sing, the quickest answer that I have is Nexium and Diet Coke. Nexium for, and this is not a Nexium commercial, but that one in particular seems to work the fastest for me. And there's something about Diet Coke, it just cuts through the crap. It cuts through anything. It's probably absolutely terrible for you, but when I have to sing and I'm not feeling well, if I'm feeling jet lagged, if I'm feeling sinus-y or like stuffed up, Diet Coke, cold. Hook it up to my veins, call it a day.
Of course, this is something that for singers is on our minds all of the time. And you have, with different singers, like some people are very prone to getting sick. I'm pretty lucky in that I usually am not. Or if I was, maybe I got it out of the way when my kids were like in the preschool toddler years, when I was constantly sick. But in general, I tend to be pretty healthy. So much so that when I do feel something coming on, I have like an incredible panic, and I don't really know how to take care of myself. That being said, in order to fight off sickness, I use like those airborne things. If something's going around or if my kid is like sniffling at all, I'm really kind of mean to my kids when they're sick. I'm like, Mommy loves you from over here. Like stay far away. Or I outsource them to my parents' house. Yeah, when I'm flying, I wear a mask. That's something from the pandemic that I have held on to. I know that they say that the air in airplanes is like super purified or whatever, but I find also it really helps me maintain the moisture. It's less dry if you're kind of breathing in your own humid exhale all the time. There's not really any foods that I avoid. I don't have any allergies or anything that causes excess reflux, so I'm really lucky in that sense. Obviously, I'm not going to go on a bender the night before I have to sing. I have to avoid things with bubbles before I sing, like champagne or beer. I wouldn't have those even a couple of nights before I had to perform. But in general, if I'm feeling healthy, then I'm okay. And I think that's just luck. I don't think that's anything other than that. It's not something specific that I do.
If you love what you heard in that content, come and check us out on Tonebase. We have an amazing library of incredible content with some of the world's best artists. So if you want to learn more about classical singing and join a vibrant community of singers, join us on Tonebase Voice.